Hello friends, today let's discuss on the August War of 1940. On the 8th of August 1940, early in the Battle of Britain, when the English Empire was under heavy stress from the Nazi attack, the Viceroy of India, Lord Linlithgow, he made this August offer to the Indians to get their cooperation in the war effort. The British rulers had rejected an earlier demand made in March 1940. In this, the Congress met at Ramgarh in Bihar in its annual session, and the Congress passed a resolution offering the British government support in the war effort if a provisional national government is set up at the center. But it was only when the heat from the Japanese was getting hotter and the Germans threatening their very sovereignty and pride, the English rulers decided to make this offer with some of the following proposals. A dominant status as an objective for the Indians. There will be an increase in the number of Indians in the Viceroy Executive Council. A constitution making body to be appointed immediately after the war, and setting up a war executive council, a safeguard of the minorities, and that no further constitution to be adopted without the consent of the minorities. Some important features of this offer are: for the first time, the inherent right of the Indians to frame their constitution was recognized. The Congress demand for a constituent assembly was conceded. Dominant status was explicitly offered here, and in July 1941, the Viceroy gave the Indians a majority of 8 out of the 12 Viceroy Executive Council for the first time, but the White remains in charge of defense, finance, and home. And also a National Defense Council was to be set up with purely advisory functions. The August offer failed to make any impact and it was rejected. But why was it rejected? The Congress rejected the August offer, and leaders like Nehru said the dominant status concept is as dead as a doornail. Mahatma Gandhi, he also commented that the declaration had widened the gap and the gulf between the nationalists and the British rulers. Meanwhile, the Muslim League, they welcomed the veto assurance given to the League and reiterated its position that partition and formation of Pakistan was the only solution to the deadlock. Every action has consequences, and antis unsatisfied by the August offer and the rejection of the demands made by the Congress, Gandhiji had a meeting of the Congress Working Committee in Wardha revealed his plan to launch individual civil disobedience movement. After the August offer, disappointed radicals and leftists wanted to launch a multi civil disobedience movement, but in this case, Gandhi insisted on individual satyagraha. The aims of launching individual satyagrahis were to show that nationalist patience was not due to weakness, and to express people's feelings that they were not interested in the war and that they made no distinction between Nazism and the double autocracy that the British used to rule India, and to give another opportunity to the government to accept Congress demands. Nonviolence was set as the centerpiece of individual satyagraha, and 3 satyagrahis were chosen. The first satyagrahi selected was Acharya Vinoba Bhave, who was sent to jail when he spoke against the war. The second satyagrahi was Jawaharlal Nehru, and the third satyagrahi was Pramatad, one of the inmates of the Kanti Ashram. They all were sent to jail for violating the Defense of India Act. But in December 1940, Gandhi suspended the movement, and the campaign was started again in January 1941, and this time thousands of people joined and around 20,000 people were arrested. But on the 3rd of December 1941, the Viceroy ordered the acquittal of all the satyagrahis. The failure of the August offer led to the replacement with the Cripps proposal in 1942. That's all about the August offer in brief. Thank you, and for further suggestions, please drop it at the comment section below and please do subscribe.